besties, welcome back. So we are checking out the winged Hussars, deadliest cavalry force in the history of mankind. If you love to check this out with me, you know how we do it. Let's get right.
When it came to winning battles.
So this
There have been a lot of famous cavalry
one
units
of the
that have been
history of
romanticized
Poland.
in the ancient times, such as
Yeah.
Persian cataphracts or companion cavalry during the reign of Alexander the Great. Both are noteworthy and have been important building stones of Persian and Macedon empires. However, not a single cavalry unit had as much of an impact on a country's dominance over their neighbors for centuries as the famed winged Hussars. Winged Hussars were a heavy cavalry formation active in Poland and in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth from the 1503 to 1702. They were a dominant fear-mongering hurricane of horses and steel, which made the Polish Hussars to be respected and held in a high regard even during the Napoleonic era, long after their disbandment. Their epithet is derived from a large rear wings, which were intended to demoralize the enemy during the charge and also just face it, because they looked unique and freaking cool. Contrary to the popular belief, Hussars
The poles are very strong. Like, if you're from Poland, my respects.
originated in the mercenary units of exiled warriors from the Balkan region of Europe. Mercenary lancers of Serbian origin, known as the Raskians, were frequently hired to counter the Ottoman Sipahi and Delhi cavalry. In the 15th century, the Hussars based on those of Matthias Corvinus were adopted by some European armies to provide light and expendable cavalry units. The true winged Hussar arrived with the reforms of the King of Poland and Grand Duke of Lithuania Stephen Bathory in the 1570s, and was later led by King John III Sobieski. Most Hussars were recruited from the wealthier Polish nobility known as Szlachta. Each Hussar, tovarzysz, or comrade in English, raised his own pochet or retinue. Several retinues were combined to form a Hussar banner or company. Over the course of the 16th century, Hussars became heavier in character. They abandoned wooden shields and adopted metal-plated body armor. Hussars had to provide the arms and the armor for themselves and their retainers, except for the lance, which was provided by the king. The lance was the main offensive weapon of the pikemen or infantry equipped with two-handed pikes. That infantry made the charges of lance-bearing knights largely obsolete, and knights' one-handed lance couldn't be as heavy as the pike and therefore had to be shorter. Consequently, the knights couldn't reach beyond the pikes, so charging was out of the question. But the winged horsemen found a way to get around this, a quite crafty one. They devised a hollow lance, something revolutionary at the time. Not only it was lighter than the traditional one, but it also broke less easily. That's right, according to the laws of physics, a hollow lance is more robust than a full one. Also, thanks to the lower weight, the length could be extended. Suddenly, the Hussar's lance could be over 6 meters long, longer than a pikeman's pike, which averaged around 5 meters in length. There were reports of Hussars impaling up to 6 Russians or Turks with a single charge. Moreover, the shabla, or saber in English, was carried on the left side, and several types of the sabers were known to winged Hussars, including the renowned Szabla Husarska. Some Hussars used battle axes and even warhammers. Later, they proved their adaptability when they embraced pistols. They protected themselves with an armor made of steel which was light, weighing around 15 kilograms. For riding, they used light Turkish saddles. The lightness of their attire allowed the Hussar horses to gallop at full speed for a long time. The Hussars used a special breed of horses. They were a cross between Polish and Tartar horses. The horses were famous for their endurance, speed, and maneuverability. The purpose of the shock cavalry 1610 at the Battle of Klushino, 5,000 winged hussars defeated the Russian army of 35,000 soldiers, and overwhelming odds of being outnumbered 5-1. Later, they marched into Moscow, captured it, and held on to it for 2 years, a feast that even the greatest military minds of history such as Napoleon Bonaparte and warlike superpowers such as German Empire in World War I and Third Reich in World War II were unable to recreate. In 1621, at the Battle of Chochim, 45,000 Poles repelled the invasion of 170,000 Ottoman Turks. The Poles entrenched themselves and the Ottomans laid the siege. However, the winged hussars' counterattacks were devastating to the Ottoman army. On one occasion, 600 winged hussars charged against 10,000 Ottomans. They broke their lines and drove the Ottoman janissaries back to their camp. The king of Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, John III Sobieski, arrived just in time to save the day. He led 18,000 horsemen to charge down the hills, which became the largest cavalry charge in history. The victory was so decisive that it eventually led to the decline of Ottoman Empire and created a power vacuum in the region, which was later used by the Austro-Hungarian Empire. In 1694, led by the famous Charles XII, destroyed the winged hussars. It was the signal of the downfall of the famed cavalry. After nearly 2 centuries of dominance, the adversaries of Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth started adapting and learned how to counter this unstoppable force of steel and flesh. The hussars' opponents began using so-called Frisian horses. These were spiked obstacles that stopped cavalry charges. The firearms improved rapidly and caused more damage to the horsemen. Their reputation had also suffered, as the quality of the soldiers seeking to join them visibly decreased, as well as the slumping Polish economy were the main reasons behind the end of the hussars. From then on, the winged hussars took only part in ceremonies, as they became too expensive to raise and obsolete in the new modern warfare, which led to the public giving them a mocking nickname, the funeral soldiers. The Polish parliament abolished them in 1776. Yet, after the partition of Poland, the tradition of skilled hussars lived on, some of which kept a fear-mongering reputation while serving in Napoleon's armies. Today, the hussars are but a memory that conjures the lost glory of Poland's early modern period. Some of their accessories have become prized elements of the museum collections. At Kornik Castle, there are 3 lances. At the Wawel Royal Castle, you can see a winged suit of armor, while on display at Warsaw Polish Army Museum is an ornate hussars horse stack for parades. The Polish hussars are depicted on the commemorative 200 złotych gold coin, and the badge of the Polish Army's 1st Armored Division is inspired by the armor of the winged hussars. Despite their fall from grace, their unique innovative design and legendary fearsomeness means that their image has continued to last through all sorts of stories for the last 230 odd years since their dissolution. No doubt, the hussars will continue to inspire many for years to come. The winged hussars were the deadliest cavalry in the history of humankind. They won most of the battles they fought, even when outnumbered by the enemy. The sight of the winged hussars inflicted fear in the hearts of the opponents. They achieved a legendary reputation. The stories about their feats circulated across Europe, Russia, and the Ottoman Empire. Everyone knew and feared the angels of death.
Guys, wow, this was respect to the Poles. Like Poland, Poland is a great nation, and their history, I think they are one of the best histories so far. I respect the Poland. They are strong people. They are really strong people. If you are from Poland, tell me more about the winged hussars. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more Poland video. I love you guys so much, and I will see you all in my next video.